everyone, and welcome back to America What the Heck. I meant to post this video last week, but some things came up, so I'm posting it now. So, everything should be still relevant. I don't think anything has changed about these topics that I'm going to discuss. A couple things have gotten a little bit more serious, but other than that, I think we should be good. So, first things first, I'm going to start off with a terrorist attack that happened on the 22nd, which was a Wednesday. So on March 22nd, 2017, a man decided that he was going to perform an act of terrorism. He drove across the Westminster Bridge in London. He injured 40 people there, killed 2, and he drove into the fence that surrounded Parliament. So if you don't know, Parliament meets in Westminster Abbey, and when I was there over summer, it was amazing. You had to go through a lot of security to get in there, though. You had to go and get everything checked. You have to have special passes to get in there. It's not like just a random citizen can walk and be like, "Hi, want to come in?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, dude." No, we had to check our bags at right before we went in to go sit down and watch Parliament in action. Just the House of Commons, not the House of Lords. But we had to go through a whole bunch of security with metal detectors, and it was pretty intense. We made it through. This guy, however, I'm not going to mention his name. I'm going to mention, though, that he was a British national, and he was on the UK's watch list, but his last conviction was in 2003 for the possession of a knife. So they were watching him, but they weren't really sure about it. They were just, we're just going to, keep an eye on you. Well, he drove across Westminster Bridge, driving into people. So some people had to jump over the bridge to avoid getting hit by this guy, which thankfully they were rescued from the water. But 2 people were killed on the bridge. One was an American, and his wife was badly injured. The sad thing is, they were on their 25th wedding anniversary, and she lost him. But she's, last I heard, she was in the hospital. She's doing better, but it's still a horrible occurrence. But hey, she's alive. And the second one was a Spanish teacher who she lived in the UK, and she was killed. So the man continued on. He drove through all these people, killing all these people, and then he went and he crashed his car into the gate around Parliament. And after he did that, he got out and he went around with a knife trying to stab people, and then he stabbed a policeman who was trying to stop him from doing this, and the other policeman took him out. So the attacker was killed. Unfortunately, he killed that policeman who was the first one there, the first one on the scene to stop him. So he lost his life. So to those people who were killed, to those people who were affected by that, and who horribly affected, either their husband died or my heart goes out to them, and my prayers go out to them as well. Yeah. Now the thing is, ISIS claims responsibility for this entire attack. And the thing is, there's no evidence that connects ISIS to this attack. It could just be them like, "Oh yes, this is us. This is our terrorist attack because, watch out, we're ISIS," which is a terrifying aspect, of course. But it could also just be them being like, "Hey, this is ours too. We're just going to cause mass chaos around the entire world because that's what we want." So we don't really know because, like I said, there's no evidence that directly connects them. So, don't know. And the sweet thing is, in Paris, the Eiffel Tower went black in respect for the 3 people who died during this terrorist attack. So there's also been a bit of controversy around it because there was a picture that somebody took after the attack where there was a woman wearing a hijab, and to me, she looked like she was in shock. She was actually, apparently she came out and told her story that, like, hey, I was going around and talking to people, and that's like, I was in shock, like, oh my gosh, this happened. So sometimes when things happen to you, you don't have like a sorrowful look on your face, you have a blank look on her face, and that's what she had. She was just kind of like, look like this, but like as if she was like trying to hold us on to something, like tears maybe, because a whole bunch of people were killed or injured, so why wouldn't she be in shock? But people were probably, "Oh, look at this Muslim woman, she's, out here going like this, like no emotion on her face." No, she was in shock. So get off your horses. She was just a woman who happens to be Muslim who was at the scene because, hey, she's allowed to walk around in London. And yeah, people being stupid about that. It was one man who went out of his own accord, as far as we know, and just attacked people and killed people, innocent people, because he wanted to. Next thing that's made me a little frustrated at the world is the United States President has released his budget proposal. There are several things on there that he wants to get rid of. So there's one of the programs that he wants to get rid of includes Meals on Wheels. Now, if you don't know that, what that is, it's a program that helps bring food to the elderly. So what you can kind of boil it down to, if you really want to, is our president wants to get rid of giving food to our elders. You know, and it's like, oh, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Yes, it works. It's a great program. It's a wonderful thing that we can give back to our elders, to give back to the people that have taught us so much or who have helped our industry so much. It's ridiculous. So essentially, you know, I wrote in my little notes, our president wants to get rid of Meals on Wheels. Why does he want to take food away from our elders? So, you know, Meals on Wheels works, so why get rid of it? Because he wants to put a lot of funding in military spending. And NASA. Which is great. Yeah, I'd love to find out, like, hey, is there life on other planets? Yes, that's great. But we don't want to find that out by killing other people, by saying, oh, you can't have this. The other thing that he's cutting funding to, which has really irritated me, has been that he's cutting funding to the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency. Hello, I'm a biologist, and I really would like the Environmental Protection Agency to still survive because, hey, maybe I want to go and work for them. So, like I said in my notes, now we understand that our president thinks that China made up global warming, but they didn't. It's not just like this thing that they're trying to do to take over industry. It doesn't make sense. Why would China make up something like to take over industry? How does that help them take over our industry? It doesn't. I mean, if you really think that, you know, global warming and pollution is just a hoax, why don't you take a look at Beijing? Take a look at Beijing. Oh, I'm just kidding, you can't, because it's covered in smog. You cannot see Beijing. Like, they have these pictures, the giant billboards in front of certain areas in Beijing from what it used to look like, so you can take a picture in front of that, because you cannot see the city across the water. It is so polluted, and they're doing so many great programs to help reduce that pollution, to help get rid of all that smog that's causing people to have several diseases, develop a whole bunch of problems because of these environmental issues, because of all the smog, because of all the pollution. So, China's like, hey, we didn't make this up. We also didn't make up global warming. We're trying to get rid of all this smog and pollution so that we can be better for our people, so it can be better for essentially the entire world, because smog can come over the ocean, friends, because that's how air works. Air circulates. And I will go on another rant about that later on if you really want me to, but China did not make up global warming. The majority of the scientific world agrees. There's some people out there who are, for some reason, not agreeing with that, and I will make an entire video about that. And yes, I know in one of my past videos I mentioned Bill Nye, and the reason why I mentioned him is because practically every single American student knows who Bill Nye the Science Guy is. If you don't know, I recommend you look him up. Also, Bill has a show coming on Netflix, and I'm so excited. It's a beauty. He's a wonderful person. His shows are hilarious. The reason why I mentioned him is because, one, he's a major media person because of talking about global warming, talking about pollution, talking about these things. And yes, when he first started out, he wasn't a real scientist. He was a TV person, and then he went and he got his doctorate, he got all his degrees to make sure that he's like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Global warming is a thing, and he's just a beautiful person in general. So that's why I mentioned him. I know there's plenty of other scientists out there, and I will do a video about that, not now. Okay. Our president's funding, or building, or proposal, budget proposal about this entire thing, also cuts funding to PBS. Say bye-bye to Sesame Street, kids. Yeah, I never thought that would happen. Again, this is just a budget proposal, so maybe it's not going to be a huge thing, but maybe it won't actually happen, but we don't know. And there's several things that our president has proposed and supported that have not happened, so maybe it won't. For instance, recently, the healthcare bill that he was supporting and tried to get passed did not. And it wasn't because the Democrats were behind this. No, it was because a lot of Republicans were looking at it going, no, this is horrible. This cuts funding and, a whole bunch of programs for people that need it. And it gives, special budget cuts, special, tax breaks to the rich who don't need those tax breaks versus the poor who do. And oh my goodness, there was a guy, I don't remember which senator it was, but he said, if the poor wanted to be able to afford healthcare, then they could just stop buying all these iPhones that they love so much. Yeah. No. iPhones cost a lot, but not as much as healthcare costs. You would need to buy approximately 10 iPhones a year to make up for a minimum amount of healthcare that you could get, the minimum plan that you get with Obamacare. It's a minimum plan that, it's decent, honestly, for any kind of medical care plan. And these people aren't just going out and buying iPhones. Yes, there are some people out there who are like, I'd rather have an iPhone than whatever I need, kind of thing. But the point I'm trying to make here is, the majority of people who are in poverty, who have fallen below the line of poverty, cannot afford to get health care if they do not have the Obamacare plan, which was actually never really the Obamacare plan. People just tack that on there. And it's a lot better than Trump care. So, I was talking about PBS, trying to go back to PBS, and he's talking about, cutting all this funding to PBS, which, that's kind of, when I came back to the States, that's what I grew up with. That's what all the little kids that I babysat, that I took care of, that I, happened to be in the house with, watch. So I would watch it with them. They're like, oh yeah, there's Sesame Street. Oh cool, Elmo, and cool, and all these great shows that people were able to put their kids in front of so they could learn. It's a horrible idea that we will not be able to have PBS to help teach our kids. PBS just announced that they had a new character on their show that's autistic, to reach out to the kids who are autistic. And the thing is, they're not just popping a kid, a puppet in there going, oh yeah, it's autistic, the kid's autistic, yeah, it's fine. No, they actually did months of research to appropriately portray a young person with autism. And actually, the character is puppeted by a mother with a child who has autism. So it's not going to be a really bad depiction of a child with autism. It's going to be a really good one. And our president wants to cut funding to PBS, to these programs, and spend more on military. We were just starting to cut down on our military, because we have one of the largest militaries in the world, and we're not even at war with anybody, at war. So I pray that our president looks upon this, actually looks and stops using nepotism, which, if you don't know what nepotism is, I'll give you an example. Our president hired his son-in-law to be one of his major advisors, and now has just hired his daughter, not Tiffany, Ivanka, to be his eyes and ears in the White House. Essentially, nepotism is, you have an office and power, either governmental power or corporate power, something like that, and you hire your relatives to, hire parts of that government or that company, and there you are. So essentially your executives, your CEOs, your advisors are related to you. So how do you know that they're even going to do, good things? How do you know that they're not just gonna, be brown nosers? You don't. That's the thing. It's becoming like a dynasty, essentially. And I think that's what he's trying to make it into. And it's scary. This is our world now. So I wanted to end this on a happy note with, hey, PBS has this new character that's trying to raise awareness about, hey, kids with different things in their lives, like with autism, with other things. Because I have friends who have autism. One of my cousins has autism, and he's the sweetest thing in the world. And trying to raise more awareness about what autism is and how to help people who have it. Because there are different levels of autism. Because there's levels where it's like a really low level, where sometimes, they're like a little socially awkward or something like that, to the point where they can talk to you, but it's not exactly like I'm talking to you guys. It's a little different, or sometimes there might be like loud sounds I set them off, and they might have, anxiety attacks, something like that. How to take care of them, and how to make them feel better, and how to make them realize that they're not alone, which I think is wonderful. So I'm going to try to end it on that and have like a little happy note of, hey, PBS is trying to raise awareness about something that we can do for our friends, for our family members, for our neighbors. So hopefully the budget won't go through and won't be like, they'll look at it and go, good job, Mr. President. We're going to change a couple things here, but thank you for your input. So that being said, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Sorry this video was so long, but I had a lot of things on my chest to get off about everything that has just happened in the last week, and hopefully I'll be able to put something about climate change on here soon enough. Alright, bye guys, I hope you have a wonderful day.